Hey everybody, it's Stacy with Pageantry Now. So happy and so excited to be here on a Friday night. We've got an amazing night coming up, and on our first interview is going to be on in just a second. But before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about Pageantry Now and what we're all about, which is positivity in pageantry and being able to highlight what title holders are doing using a crown and a sash to be able to change their world. And that might be locally, that might be a state, that might be national, it could be international. But everybody's space takes up different ways. But we really are about the positivity and highlighting the amazing things title holders are doing. So if you've got questions that you want to speak to Megan Swanson, who is Miss Nebraska USA, she's coming on in just a second, ask them in the chat. If I can, I will highlight them. Please make sure we keep them child appropriate because we do have teens that watch and we just want that to be a safe place. So with that being said, I'm going to get this thing going. Here we go. Hi.
Yay!
Yay. You have had a crazy week. Before we get started, introduce yourself to everybody because this is your media week. So welcome.
So, sorry for my voice. First of all, I got a terrible cold right after I won. I think the adrenaline. So if I sound like a guy, I don't always sound this way. But my name is Megan Swanson. I'm a 26-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm the current Miss Nebraska USA 2020 as of 5 days ago. So incredibly excited. This is the first interview. And well, I did another podcast, I guess, yesterday. Where even am I at? But first interview, fully talking about pageantry, and I'm just so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited, and again, it's so wonderful for me. I competed at Team USA a very long time ago, but for me to be able to see this sisterhood and to still be part of it and to be able to have now all the state title holders come on and just tell their stories. Usually I do all of this, at Miss USA, so it's nice to be able to get it where I can talk a little bit more than just, 2 or 3 minutes here or there. So,
Yeah.
So first let's talk, I know everybody's talking in Nebraska about this, but let's talk a little bit about the thing that makes you a little bit more special than maybe the typical Miss Nebraska.
Yeah. Yes. So what is a crazy strike of fate is that I'm the current Miss Nebraska USA, and my little sister, my taller little sister, Allie,
who's blonde.
Yes, she is blonde. Everybody asks me that. It's so normal to me. I'm like, yeah, of course she's blonde. But yeah, I'm the only brunette in my family. I have an older brother, Ian, who's incredible, and my younger sister, Allie, and she is the current Miss Nebraska in the America system. So we just got done with Miss America 3.5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe now, and 3-week turnaround to Miss Nebraska USA. So it's been crazy in the Swanson family, needless to say. But Allie, my younger sister, is my best friend, and we get 6 months of reign overlap. Unless I win Miss USA, of course, then it'll be a little bit different story, but it's just such a blessing and so incredible. So we've just been trying to tackle my first week together, really raising this to a national level because just the chances of us reigning at the same time are 1 in a bajillion. And we're just so excited we get to do this together.
And especially coming from Nebraska, which, hopefully, it's not 2-peat in a row, but let's assume it's a 2-peat. That could be kind of cool. So, but for those who don't know, Miss USA 2 years ago, well, a year and a half ago, is from Nebraska. Well, not even. I guess it's 6 months ago. Sarah Summers is from Nebraska. So, and we got to know Sarah through being at Miss USA, and then I judged with her a couple of weeks ago in California as well. So.
Cool.
Crazy. So, but am I correct in understanding this is your second time as Miss Nebraska as well?
Yes. So I was Miss Nebraska in the Miss America organization 6 years ago, so many years ago, and
forever ago.
Yeah.
At 20, you won at 20?
Yeah, I just turned 21. So
wow.
Kind of the crazy thing is that I've won both titles on my first try, and that's not like trying to toot my own horn, but it just is wonderful. And what was really cool about this one specifically is I've really pondered this in my heart for 4 years. I coach a lot of women in interview coaching, and I've owned Powerhouse Pageantry for 4 years now that we're kind of rebranding to the Powerhouse Project and expanding our enterprises. But I just love coaching women, and this was so special for me to kind of show that the old coach, still uses her own tricks and that it can work. And for everybody who said, oh, well, that was just a, strike of fate that Megan won the first time. I was like, now what are you gonna say? I won both of them.
Bring it.
I'm the first one to win the America system and the USA system in Nebraska, which is pretty special. And again, just getting to even Allie and I, my sister, were also the first two sisters to win in the America system. So we just like broken all these records. We need like a plaque that just has all of them, so
Chick,
we
click,
just like
click,
can show
click.
people. But we were raised in such a close knit family, and everything that we do together with the full force of Swanee Nation, like we like to call it. And so it's been really cool.
Okay, your parents have got to be like either very, very happy because it's opened up amazing opportunities for you, or so far in debt right now that they can't even believe it.
Right. Well, we are workhorses. Let me tell you, we've never had anything handed to us. I always tell people, I mean, we were literally raised with a family who scraped pennies for pizza growing up. And my parents were musicians, and they met in a recording studio 32 years ago. Music's always kind of been our thing as a family. And so I think a lot of times people look at pageant girls because it is an expensive sport, if you will. And we were athletes and musicians growing up, show choir, all that kind of stuff. So they always said yes to our dreams, and we just figured it out. And so I really appreciate that instilled such a great work ethic in us, because it makes us relatable too. And I think that's partially why we've been able to be so successful. And people look up to my sister, who's an incredible Miss Nebraska, way better than I was in my personal opinion, because she got to watch over the last couple of years other Miss Nebraskas do that, and it's just been really special.
So let's talk. I mean, I know you're a songwriter as well, so clearly you're a very musical family. But let's talk, why pageants? What made you all decide to do this crazy sport? Because it's insane. There's no,
Yeah.
and I say that often. I've been competing for 37 years, which is also crazy. But, this is not for the light of heart in any way, shape, or form.
Right. I think, well, first and foremost, I'd never done a pageant as an adult. I'd done two younger pageants. I did like NAM once, ANSO once, and did well with those, but took a million years off because I wanted to focus on music in college. I went to Belmont in Nashville and was a music major there. And my mom has always had some of the most defining conversations with me in my life, and I'm so thankful for her to help kind of reorganize the bumpers of our alignment and our course. And so I remember she had a really tough conversation with me when I was 19 after my first year of college. I just walked through an eating disorder. I was just trying to find my path, and living 12 hours away from home was very difficult, especially when you're all of a sudden in a very large pond and you're a very small fish. And I remember I almost quit college. I felt like the worst singer in the world. And I'm so glad that I didn't quit, but pageants helped me have a new vision for something. And so I actually went on Facebook, and I had seen that the Miss Nebraska before me had just been crowned JC Pilkington, who's a fantastic woman. And something left in my heart, and I was like, I'm going to do that. And at the time, I literally didn't know the difference between Miss Nebraska and Miss USA. I had no clue about anything, but I was like, okay, you need a talent, you need to win a local, you need to do this. You got swimsuit back then, you evening gown, this stuff, platform. And I remember I was so green, I literally changed my platform in between winning my local and winning state, because I was like, oh, okay, like let's actually make this a real thing. And then 9 weeks later was at Miss America. So pageants have just provided an incredible open door for a new way to grow in your confidence and personal development. And that's really where I fell in love with personal development, and realized that I was an entrepreneur at heart, because you're cold calling and cold emailing every day. In Nebraska, you're your own booking agent. And it really transformed me as an individual. And so I'm so thankful for pageantry. It's the only way that I ended up paying for school at Belmont, because my mom lost her job that year. And literally, it was just God's timing, where I won almost $20,000 to go to Belmont, because it's incredibly expensive. And it was really cool because actually I used my negotiation skills before I was, a business owner. And I walked into the vice president's office at Belmont, and I said, you're going to give me free housing for the year. And I basically negotiated $10,000 of housing the first day that I came back to school, using the skills that I had. And I was like, you know what? You use my name all year, because we actually had two of us. Miss Tennessee and I were both from Belmont that year, and we're friends. Haley's awesome. And I said, you use both of us on the front page of your magazine and your web pages and all these things. The least that you can do is give me free housing. And so that was $10,000 extra my parents didn't have to pay. I just think that's an incredible example of what pageantry can do for individuals.
Oh, that is phenomenal. And people don't recognize, I think, that, because first of all, it's not easy to get sponsorship, to everybody assumes that it's all glamorous, that immediately you become wealthy, you get this prize package, everything is changed. And sometimes that happens depending on which title you get.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. And I know that, you know, for me as an adult, competing as an adult, I never had any of that. I'm a title holder now, but my directors, this is the first time my directors have ever made, you know, booked me. Everything else has always been me doing it myself. So it's hard to be able to finance your dreams and be able to really look forward to what's happening. And I'm really curious to hear, because I know you've had a very successful uh, run with your platform. So let's talk a little bit about that, because you've taken what you've learned and you're now empowering other women. So let's talk about the success of that and how that is all changing and how that is going to mesh into this life as Miss Nebraska USA.
Yeah. So my platform was called Total Wellness Spirit, Soul, and Body when I was Miss Nebraska. And when I gave up my title, I realized that I felt like I was just beginning with women's empowerment, and that God gave me a bold personality and lots of opinions, and being able to tell it like it is for a reason, because people need to be aligned with truth, but also comforted with encouragement. And I believe that those are probably two of the biggest gifts that I carry as an individual, because things to make sense why I was as a child, and why I was kind of the black sheep of the family, and in a good way, you know, just somebody who was that trailblazer. And so I think, again, we're made that way for a reason, because we're supposed to do something about it. And so I couldn't just stop after I had this level of influence and ability to have an open door to speak into women's lives. And so I was present during my last year of college when I went back to Belmont, but I had a totally different perspective of what I wanted to do. And so I thought I was going to live in Nashville the rest of my life, where I was living. And by the end of my senior year, I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to move on. So I did. And 30 days later, I started my company. Didn't know it was going to be what it was, but I just knew that I wanted to get to speak into the lives of women. And so I was like, man, I don't want to be a life coach. It seems kind of like guru-y. It's too broad. I don't want to be one of those guys. And just because I'm like a straight to the point kind of girl, and I'm like, dude, if we're not actually helping people, like, what are we doing? And so I remember I just kept just saying, just put one foot in front of another, and the chips will fall where they're supposed to fall. And so it was just such a cool process to see how things slowly aligned. And now it's just been so beautiful over the past 4 years. It'll be June 2nd that I've owned Powerhouse Pageantry. And we equip women in mindset, emotional intelligence, and certainly their communication skills, which help them with interview, and have around like a 95% winning rate when it comes to prelim interview at state. So really proud of that. But more importantly, just the relationships and the sisterhood that's been built over the past 4 years. I love getting to be mom or big sister or Auntie Megan or Coach Megan, you know, or whatever people call me. But, you know, I've been a big sister my whole life. And so it just feels like a natural next step where I get to extend to more kids. And my mom introduces herself as Mama Swan to people. So that's just the environment that I was raised in. Literally, even adults, like their handles on Instagram are real Mama Swan and Papa Swan. But you know, how beautiful is that we can extend that culture to individuals who may not have that in their life. And whether it's somebody in one of my low ticket subscription programs that just needs a mentor in their life, or somebody that gets to work with me one-on-one, I value everybody the same. And I just want to be that person who helps you get from A to B. And I believe that that's what I was created for. So then it was really awesome. And just the rebranding of that packaging over the past couple months, because obviously being a pageant coach in pageants, unfortunately, is a little bit of a taboo. I don't really care, but other people might. So, and I'm not a pageant coach. I really am like a life coach, as funny as that is, because I didn't want to be.
You're a mentor. It's different.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just excited for the road ahead. But I felt like it was so empowering this time around, interviewing for Miss Nebraska USA and even getting to speak an on-stage question. I just had this peace over me, because I was like, you know what? Win or lose, I have built this life that I love, and that I get to empower individuals, which is what I want to do as Miss Nebraska USA. So if that's what they're looking for, awesome. But I was willing to put my company on the line. I was willing to put my reputation on the line. I was willing to put my one and done, you know, a plaque on the wall on the line. And I said, that's the kind of girl that I am. I'm like, if I'm going to encourage you guys to go after your dreams and to take risks, I want to do that too. And I want to go first. And so winning Miss Nebraska USA was so awesome. But I really just felt like I just got to share my life and say, you know what? I've done it. Like, I'm not trying to beg. I'm not trying to plead. I'm not trying to prove to you that I'm the girl. Like, I just am. I just am. And if you notice that, cool. If not, I'm going to go back to my life and keep changing the world. And so I'm excited to continue to do that at Miss USA and always try and get better as an individual. And that's just who I am. So it's been an awesome journey.
So let's talk a little bit about, well, first of all, I have to say, if you have not, if you don't follow Megan, you can find her at Megan_Swanson, but go take a look at Allie's videos the night you got crowned, because I think she was as excited as you were, which was beautiful. It was beautiful to see. And I could tell you're emotional already because I could see. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see it, and I don't have a sibling that gets involved like that. I don't have that kind of family relationship. So to see it was very, very beautiful. And how do you think your experience with pageantry helped Allie or affected Allie, like in a positive way or a negative way? Like, did she do this because of you, or did you, like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So she was a two-time All-American basketball player. So pageants were not on her radar at all. And I remember looking at her, and she'll tell you this. We said this on the interview yesterday. And this is so funny because I'm just coach in like everybody's life. I can't help it. But I told Allie, if you don't try this, are you going to regret it? Because she was aging out. That was before Miss America added another year. And she was just like, oh, yeah, I will. And so she signed up like 3 weeks before Miss Omaha, which is the local that I won, which is like the biggest one here, and killed it, won, like wore all my old clothes and picked a song, did it, won, and we're like, okay, we're doing this again. And my parents are like, saddle up, you know? And so, and then she didn't win last year. She got third runner up. We totally thought it was going to be her time. It wasn't. It ended up being such a God thing that it wasn't her time with all the changes last year. So glad. And then comes back this year, or last year, and it just felt right. I'm so glad that she was Miss Nebraska this year. I mean, just look at the hindsight, right? Like sometimes I think we are so full of disappointment and our girls think, oh my gosh, this is my time. And sometimes it's just not. And you have to be thankful for the whole journey, you know, because time's still going to exist outside of our perspective. And sometimes you just got to keep walking and you got to keep putting one foot in front of another. And I think sometimes failure, I was asked about that in my onstage question. Sometimes failure is the thing that teaches you whether you really want it and what your core motivations are and what's really on the inside. Because when you're squeezed, what's on the inside is going to come out, not what you want it to be, but what it actually is. And so that's how she got into pageants. She fell in love with it organically for her own. You know, it was so cool. We had so many opportunities where people tried to compare her to me, and luckily it had been enough time. But I think losing, or I should say not really even losing, just not winning the first time, was one of the best things that happened even for her credibility, because then no longer was it like, oh, the Swansons just win in the first try, you know, or whatever people want to say, which we don't care. But she grew so much as a person that second year, and I can't wait till you can interview her too. But her platform is untouchable. I mean, she's partnered with like Microsoft and the FBI and all these things. She's just a baller. She's amazing. And I mean, way better Miss Nebraska than I was, let me tell you. And it was just her time. So just for anybody listening to, I encourage you, like, don't get discouraged. If you have not aged out yet and this is still your dream, keep going, because you'll be glad if you keep learning and you keep growing, then you'll be an even better title holder next year. You'll be more comfortable at nationals. You'll be a better candidate at nationals. You won't have so much anxiety going on because you'll know that you bring even more to the table next year. And I think that's why I'm so excited for Miss USA this year, because I'm like, I'm going to be one of the oldest people. Like, I have nothing to lose. My life doesn't live or die. My identity doesn't live and die whether I win. Do I want it? Heck yeah. I go to win for anything that I do. And I know that I'd be a great Miss USA. But guess what? Like, we have to have a bigger perspective than that, or else you're going to hold on to something so tightly that it's going to slip through your fingers. And it's just not, I'm like, it's not cute. When something's your entire identity, it's just like, go, like, make yourself well rounded in something else, you know? Right. Maybe that's just me, the kind of person that I am, but it's not authentic sometimes when it's everything. And so
I agree. And that's you know, as a judge, I don't call myself a coach because I'm not a coach. I'm a mentor. I don't charge for things if people want my opinion, and that's it. It's my opinion. I'm just one person.
Yeah.
So, but you know, like for me, when I was first runner up for a very very long time,
Mm.
and I think that I don't know what you know about me, but I was diagnosed with terminal cancer at 30. And I had taken a break from pageants, and then in my 5 year anniversary, I had a dream that 5 year survival anniversary, I had a dream I won a pageant. And I went, oh yeah, man, that's
Wow.
exactly what I need to do. So at 35, I came back to pageantry and immediately won, and
Wow.
realized that I was I was here for the right reasons.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, and it was beautiful to be able to walk that path and know that, okay, maybe it wasn't my opportunity to become Miss USA. That's fine. Uh, and I'm really grateful for where that journey has brought me, because it's brought me to back to working with the Miss Universe organization, being at Miss Universe, being at Miss USA, and getting to meet all of you, which,
Mm.
you know, and hearing the stories and being able to show pageants are great. Pageants can build you and make you stronger and open opportunities that you don't see or think are going to happen until you're in the middle of it. So
Mm.
it's so cool for you. Like I'm so excited, and it started to hit me on Tuesday because I was doing interviews with some girls that are competing for state titles this weekend,
Wow.
um, and it hit me. Oh my gosh, any one of you could be Miss Universe next year. I could be interviewing you as Miss Universe. How does that feel? Or is that even something you've thought
I can
about?
be Miss Universe. I accept.
You accept? Okay, great. I got to
Miss,
hold the crown. I got to
right.
hold the new crowns. Yeah, at Miss
I
Universe,
love
they
it.
let me hold it. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think I take things one step at a time, but again, like, I don't know. I just have this piece of like whatever this year is supposed to be, it's going to be. But I think at the end of the day, that we have to trust ourselves with the girl that's underneath the crown. And I don't know. I don't think that you should have to become anything different to become Miss USA, to become Miss Universe,
I agree.
like, or else I'm just not quite sure if we're ready. So it's not that I'm not going to work my butt off. It's not that I need to, like, I mean, I'm going to work on my fitness, work on my interview questions, work on my walk. Don't get me wrong, everything, because you have to put in the work. But at the end of the day, like, you're the girl on the inside who's doing all those things, and your internal motivations and your identity and your sense of self are what drive all those things. And so I'm just, you know what, I'm content and I'm excited with the woman that I've become. And um, I know that I'm going to keep growing and submitting myself to great leadership in my life. And just, I want to be the best Megan that I can be. And so, if that's Miss USA, that's Miss Universe, awesome. But I'm also just so honored that I get to be Miss Nebraska. I care so much about that. And obviously, this opportunity with my sister is incredible. And it's just, I mean, like, I have a great life. I mean, that's an amazing opportunity. And so I just hope that that keeps translating, and we'll see how far we get. So
That's so cool. Like, it's so nice. You seem very well seated and comfortable, which over the last several years, I've gotten to know several of the Miss USAs, and the title holders, leading the state title holders as well. And I always love it when you meet one of them that just makes you feel comfortable, warm,
mm,
welcome, because that's what you want. You
yeah,
want someone that's going to be, hey, can I take a picture with you? And you just smile and go, yeah, of course, come on, let's do this.
mm,
And not be, well, yeah, I'm not available. I mean, it's just like, it's weird. It's weird. And I want, and I think that that's really where the Miss USA system, Miss Universe organization in general, is going towards real women.
yeah,
And not that the women before weren't real, but I always say that if you are faking it the day you win, it's going to be really hard to fake it for 364 days. Like, if you're not authentic in your real self, how is that going to translate? Because if this journey continues and you become Miss USA and then you go on to Miss Universe, that's going to be a long road. And if you're not happy,
yeah,
and you seem very happy and settled, which is really fantastic. So,
yeah.
um, what one of our longtime viewers, she's at Walmart, but she says she's here. So thanks, Kens. I appreciate you being here. what do you what's the plan as Miss Nebraska USA? What do you want to do?
So, we have been crushing it with media already this week, and that is definitely
I
something.
know. You've had what, 7 or 8 interviews already?
Yeah, we're crushing it, and so that's something that's totally on, my sister and I's accord. Like, we're just hustling. So, I don't know how other states work, but organically, like, we weren't set up with any media or anything. So we're just like, well, we're gonna make it happen. And so we're starting our national approach next week, which is exciting. And so we want to take this story national and continue with that, just because we really believe that if you give us the opportunity to speak on a stage, be a keynote speaker, singer, somewhere, we've always dreamed. I know everybody does, but like we've really always dreamed of like being on Ellen and or
You
whatever.
and I both. If you let that I will sit in the audience. That's I don't even want to be on stage with her, although that would be the end all be all for me. That's I have a bucket list that is number 1 on the bucket list.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
keep that in mind because well, Miss Philippines was there last week, so it can
Yes,
happen. It can happen.
yes, absolutely. But as with Nebraska, I really do want to knock down as many doors as I can to speak to women. So I think the advantage of being in the America organization earlier, which I think there are 10 or 11 of us already in the class of Miss USA this year, which is so exciting.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's almost unheard of.
there's a lot, and I think most of us are first timers too, competing in USA. So it's translating, which is cool. But one of the things that's beautiful about that is you have to work when you're in the American system. Like you don't get to not do appearances. Like you take a year off of school, and this is your
Mhm.
full time job. So that's just kind of what I'm used to. I'm like, okay, well, like let's go drive 9 hours across Nebraska and go speak in Scottsbluff. And that's not necessarily required. And so I'm just a workhorse. And honestly, I got to give honor where honor is due. Our Van Bros Collective is absolutely incredible. Being a part of a for-profit organization, I just look forward to growing as an entrepreneur this year. I was sitting in this very desk in my office, speaking to one of our owners, who is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. And just, I mean, net worth wise, just his influence wise. And so I just feel honored to have those conversations from one entrepreneur to another. And so I'm like, dude, forget I'm Miss Nebraska USA for a second. This is Megan talking to you. I want to learn. Like, I want to sit at your feet. Can I listen to business meetings? Can you, like, whatever I can absorb this year? I'm a lifelong learner, and I want to be the first millionaire in my family. I want to empower as many women as humanly possible in this world. I want to travel. I want to speak. I want to influence. And so I'm just like, I'm here. Like, put me to work. I will hold your purse. I will do whatever. Like, that's just the kind of person that I am. I don't think that I'm above anything or anyone. And so I just want to learn. I want to learn. I want to be a sponge, and then I want to input that to other people, because there are, 1.5 million women in my state. And I'm like, okay, that's 1.5 million women that are my mission field for potential individuals who need encouragement and who need a role model and a face to put to something that can give them hope, because I don't know what they're going through, but I've walked through some pretty tough stuff in my life, and I know what just one person in my corner did for me. And that person's Real Talk Kim for me, who's a huge mentor of mine. Go look her up if you don't know who that is. And now, just in the last couple of months, I've actually been connected with her, and now she's a mentor in my life. And so it's just incredible. But I really believe that when the mentee's ready, the mentor shows up. And so that's a huge thing for me that you guys can expect from me this year. And if you're somebody who is feeling low or needs another, women's empowerment individual, mentor, role model to look up to, follow me. I post encouraging stuff all the time. I very rarely actually look like this. I normally have no
None
makeup.
of us do. It's okay. I don't. Yeah, I only put on makeup for interviews. I don't even. I mean, appearances I do, but
Yep,
real life, no.
yep.
I love that. I was looking at your Instagram earlier today with the video of your cat, and I was like, oh, it's so cute. It's a Himalayan. It's beautiful.
So cute. Oh my gosh, she's crazy, but she's cute. Yeah, I'm a cat lady.
Yeah, that's okay. She's taking up your space. Meanwhile, you're taking up space in Nebraska. That's a good thing. We want
So
that.
good.
We want
So
more women
good.
taking up space. We listen to Zosie, and Zosie knows what she's talking about, and it's true. Like this should be the time for women feeling empowered and really being able to make a difference. And um, okay, I've got a couple of questions coming in. So, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Kenzie, who is one of our followers, she started following us at 14,
Mm.
does not competing pageants, has no intention of them, but she has a mean notebook with some of the hardest pageant questions I've ever had. So she says, what's the most impactful piece of advice you've ever been given and why?
I would say it's from my mentor, and it's from Real Talk Kim, and she said, "You're not stuck because you're not a tree." And last year, I walked through one of the toughest years of my life, and I 100%, even me, Kenzie, listening, even me, I thought I was stuck, and I was this close to not taking another step. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to not feel like you can do anything because someone else's negative influence in your life who has brainwashed you into thinking that you're helpless. And to even think that Megan Swanson was at that place was one of the most humbling things in the world. But also, I think why I've been able to be so successful now is because you cannot tell me a thing that I have not felt or that I have not walked through. And that makes me an empowered leader because I can legitimately relate to anybody over coffee. And I have true empathy for what you've been through and say, come on, baby girl, like let's put our pants on one foot after another and let's keep walking. But yeah, you're not stuck because you're not a tree.
I'm going to cry. Like, apparently I needed to hear that. I mean, and I've always said that everybody's path is unique and everybody's experiences and the things that they are challenged with make them define who they are when they get to the other side of it. Because sometimes when you're going through it, it's really hard to get through, the fog and to think that this will ever end. But it's how you are at the end of it that really defines you. And hopefully you don't give up. I mean, that's the intent is, I mean, that was for me, the biggest message was I was given 8 weeks to live 23 years ago. And it would have been really easy for me to, in my head, to have said, no, I can't do this. And at no point did that ever go through my head. Like there was no part of my brain that went, yep, nope, I'm done. Pack it up. Let's just go on. And I'd been on national TV many times and interviewed, and people asked me, what did you think when they told you had 8 weeks to live? And I went, what do we do next? Like, and people are like, did you think world trip? Did you think final preparations? I'm like, and one of the times I was for NBC and I said, stop roll, please. and and they're like, what? And I'm like, why do you keep asking me this question? Like, I just don't get it. And they said, because most people would have just given up. And I'm like, never even occurred to me. And I really think that having opportunities to be able to hopefully tell your story, like you said, I mean, I don't know what you went through last year that made you feel, and I don't know if you're feeling comfortable to share it, but I know that for people like Kenzie, she needs to hear that right now. So it's important that you give her hope. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't need to go into all the details, but I would just say, just be really mindful of people in your life because they absolutely shape your future. They shape your identity. They shape the voices that you listen to get down into your spirit. You're not just a body, but you're a spirit, soul, and a body. And you have a mind, a will, and emotions that drive everything that you do. So even in your subconscious levels, it's always absorbing things. And so just be mindful of that. And that's the beauty of social media, the beauty of podcasts, the beauty of getting to choose those voices in your life. Even if you feel like you have very limited choices in your life, you can choose to listen to a podcast every day. If you have a phone, if you have the ability to listen to this right now, you are still on the top, whatever percent of the world. And so I think a lot of times the world even trains us to think that we're helpless, but we're not. And so take control over the things that you can because you'll be glad that you did. And there's so much strength that comes from learning what you can have control over and just saying goodbye, no, get out of my life to the things that are not serving you because they're not serving you. And let's just say, to make a long story short, I was not allowed to compete in Miss Nebraska USA last year by somebody in my life in particular. And you know what? So glad I didn't because now you better believe I'm 10 times stronger than the Megan that would have been not herself last year competing. And so life happens in amazing ways. But when you are feeling your lowest, just keep on healing, keep on making decisions that are in alignment with where you want to go, because it's part of why I have such a fire in me. And I remember the first day that I felt fire again, because I just was, I felt like the lowest you could ever imagine. And I think a lot of times people look at me now and they're like, oh my gosh, I just wish I had that kind of confidence. Well, guess what? I didn't a year ago. But it's daily sacrifice. It's daily decisions. And now you can't tell me nothing. There's nobody that can destroy my confidence. There's nobody. And it's so beautiful for those of you listening, because it's not arrogance. It's not, it's this humble, like you said, seated, like, I don't have everything.
I can feel it. I can feel it through the camera. I mean, like, I hear it in your voice. There's a warmth to it. There's an openness. There's an honesty about it. And it has been my experience that sometimes people come on. I will ask you my favorite question, but the reason I ask the question is because the first time I asked it was to Pia Warsbach, and the reaction was not pageant reaction. I want. You ready? It's hard. It's super. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's actually fun, and it may not even pertain to you. So okay. So, do you like frogs? Why or why not?
Well, I remember as a kid trying to catch frogs at my brother's baseball games. I actually love these kind of questions because I think it shows so much more about people's personalities and whether they get like.
That's why I do it.
Back by it.
Yep.
To be completely honest, I think frogs are gross. I'm not really somebody who likes to get my hands all nasty, but I would say I'm more of a cat person.
Yeah, well, then you got the cat. Your cat's beautiful. Hold on. And because we're live, it's important that our Roomba is now cleaning the house right now. So hold on. Hold on. Oh God. Anyway, so but and the reason we ask the question is because I don't want, and it gets a legitimate answer, and it's not, you can't pre-practice. I mean, I know people now watch me to and they know the question, but it's funny because I asked Zosie, and Zosie went, no, but yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah.
But it gets a real reaction. I don't want the perfect reaction. I want, to get beyond what as we in the industry probably call pageant patty, but I don't want that. I want the warmth and the real person, and that's not always easy to get. So
yeah,
it's good that you don't dislike them, but you don't really want to hang out with them. I get that. When I was a kid, I loved them.
Well, I appreciate your love for frogs, and you live that lane, girl. You love those frogs.
I don't know about, well, no, I still do. I hate it. It's really, there's one on my sash, which someone bought me a frog so that I could always have one with me, because I guess they thought I liked them because of the question. Yeah. All right, let's do a quick this or that so that we can get some fun out of you, because that's always good. So do you prefer interview, which I'm pretty sure, interview or evening gown?
Interview.
And why?
Evening gown freaks me out, to be honest. Evening gown, I think, is one of the most, like, not terrifying, but I'm just like, because I'm such a go-getter, sometimes it's so hard for me to slow down and be like, set an intention for this evening gown. Sometimes all I can think about is like, don't trip. What is this doing for you to get to know me? Although I will say I loved my evening gown. That's a whole different story. Winning in my sister's gown, and then she won in my gown. That's a whole thing. But
wait. She wore your gown when she won Nebraska?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And okay. I won in her gown when I won Nebraska.
It's so cool.
Keeps going. I'm telling you, we need just like a list. We're like, guys, just here's the thing. But yeah, so I love interview because I get to be weird and spunky, and just like I'm so released from the fact of trying to like be a people pleaser in interview. I'm like, yo, if I saw you at Walmart, like, you wouldn't intimidate me. So it's just this setting. So I feel like I just get to be me, and then I'm like, okay, evening gown. Like, I don't know.
Good. Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I love interview too, but like, still, there's something, that princess moment sometimes. Well, and I guess it just depends if you feel like if you love your gown.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite, when I asked that question, was Catriona, and she said, I was just worried about like coming out on stage, and she says, oh God, I can see his name. Neo was singing to her, and all she could think about, she told me, she says, all I could think about that was Neo. I had seen him in the wings. I was freaking out because that was the first concert I ever went to. And she says, and as I walked out, all I could go was, he's touching me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I would have
but that's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the cool thing about USA too, is that you will get, it is it is a different experience than America from the standpoint of there's
Yeah,
star power on that stage with you too. So
totally.
um, it's gonna be
Mhm.
so much fun. I'm so excited. I can't.
It's
I
so
want to
fun.
know where it is so we can book and be there. Come on.
It's on me.
I don't know. Well, I leaked where it was because I found out accidentally where Miss Universe was this year accidentally because I was checking for credentials and apparently no one else knew. So
That's fun.
maybe I'll find out again. All right.
Yeah.
So I know you like cats or dogs, so you like cats. So there you go. That's easy. Do you? And you already said you prefer not to be with makeup. So hair down, hair up. Which one?
Hair, probably hair up. Honestly, I'm an athlete. I have a scrunchie right here for literally right after this.
And I don't have enough hair, and it's always with me too. My students because I teach gymnastics, so
Oh, cool.
yeah. So I makeup freaks them out, and my hair is always up in a ponytail, so I got it. So,
That's fun.
uh, chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Really?
Hmm.
And why?
Just don't like the taste of chocolate. I know I'm weird. I just don't like it. Never have since I was a little girl.
That's cool though. Like I like vanilla, but I also like that. I like chocolate sometimes. So anyway, and then Walmart or Target?
Walmart, to be honest. Maybe it's being an entrepreneur, but like I just love saving money. And when I walk into Target, I cannot walk out without buying a swimsuit every single time and spending $200. And I'm like, I can't do this every week.
I no,
So
I get
Walmart.
it, but so with the change now in economy, Amazon or Walmart?
I am an Amazon Primer all day. I love that I can get things the next day, rain or shine. And so I buy a lot of stuff for my clients even on Amazon. So totally
Do you have Prime now where
Amazon.
you are? Oh, I just
Yes.
lost. Yeah, you do. Yeah, because that's it. When I go to cities when I travel, I'm like, darn it, I forgot something, and then I'll be like Prime Now it, but not every city has it. So,
Yeah.
because in an hour, I'm like, yes, thank you. If I don't have to, well,
Yeah.
I've been to 42 states and I've seen amazing airports and fantastic hotels, and that's it.
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
Wait, you probably travel quite a lot. So, would you prefer to travel stateside or to another country?
Honestly, I've only been to Costa Rica, Haiti, and Canada. So, Haiti was for a mission trip. So, you know, Costa Rica was gorgeous, but that's back when I was 18. And then Canada was lovely. I went to Toronto. So I would say I haven't really experienced the world quite as much as I would have liked to. I want to go to Australia really badly. I want to go to Europe really badly. Both my siblings have been far greater places than I have. So I would say stateside just for the sake of, I think that there are really beautiful places in America, but I just haven't really even like peeled back the layer to see what the other parts of the world have yet. But I would like to.
I haven't been to Nebraska, so maybe I have to make that happen next year. It's one of the states I haven't been to, so
Everyone says that, and I will make them love it because it's amazing. So come in the summer because it snowed 5 inches yesterday.
I'm in Miami, so like snow is not okay. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
All right, and I hate wrapping up because I'm like really enjoying this, but I do want to wrap it up. Let's just have you say whatever you'd like to tell everybody, and then let's please set this up so we can do this again. I would love to have Allie on with you too, because
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to have both of you and have both of your perspectives because there's so much going on between
Yeah.
and before Miss USA. Because like at
Yeah.
USA, I'll get to talk to you there, but I would much rather do it before we all leave. So
Yeah. I'm so glad that I'll like know you. That'll be so fun.
yeah,
When
but it's fun for me because
yeah.
normally like it's me and Pageantry Magazine that are the only ones covering, and I don't know everybody. So and I try to do 51 interviews, well, 102 interviews
Yeah.
super fast, and that's not easy. And I don't always get to touch people's lives and hear their story. So
Yeah. Totally.
thanks for answering and reaching back out because I do appreciate that.
Yes. So now everyone remember Nebraska. Nebraska. Vote for Nebraska in the future.
Please don't forget everybody. Top 20.
Seriously, just because you can't find it on a map doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote for it. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
And these
saying.
are opportunities so people can get to know you ahead of time because how can you just vote for a picture? You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So what I would like to say is, first of all, thank you for this. This is
My
awesome.
pleasure.
I love what you're doing. I love meeting new people. I love people with a heart for positive pageantry. It's what I'm all about. And really, just if people want to get connected with me further or something specifically resonated with them, I'm an open book. Love doing these types of things just because I think the more that we share the word, the more that we can help people. So, like she said, my handles are at Megan_Swanson, or my pageant company is at Powerhouse Pageantry, or my umbrella company for all of my businesses are at the Powerhouse Project. So we're doing some incredible things for women. And if you're a competitor and just looking for even just a mentor to follow, I literally post stuff every single day that's just encouraging people. And you can see behind the scenes of my crazy life. And so just thank you. I love to do life with people, and I always answer my DMs. I'm not that kind of person who just ghosts people. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. But this is
I want to
awesome.
pick your brain about podcasting because someone
Yes,
mentioned it to me yesterday that I should start podcasting, and I was like, I don't even know where to start
oh,
that.
it's
So
so easy. It's so easy. It was a huge mental block
really
for 2 years, and I'm so glad I started it. We just had our 1 year anniversary. I'm relaunching in February. So yeah, we can talk later. Totally.
awesome. We will definitely chat because I don't know. I don't know where, I never know where pageantry now is going to take me, but I love where it
Yeah,
takes me, and I love these relationships, and
yeah.
they've changed my life, and I'm so grateful. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, but I really look forward to the journey. And I was following you before, so I just thought it was so cool that and I was following your Powerhouse Pageantry too, so it was like okay, well that's cool. It worked out great.
Oh, awesome.
So
I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. Cool.
all right, my love. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we will catch up and go from there.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I am going to log out just for a quick second, and then we will start this again. Thank you again, Megan Swanson, for being on Miss Nebraska USA. I am so grateful for these opportunities, and also to the Miss Universe organization for believing in us enough to be able to have these opportunities. We're grateful for that. And to all my crownies, without you, I wouldn't know, well, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. So I appreciate that. I will be back on in just 1 minute. Let me set everything up, and then we will go live one more time. Let's do it again in just a sec. So stay tuned, everybody. That's a wrap.